Welcome to this week's episode of Your Stock Request for the 6th of September. Hi, I'm Michael Gable, Managing Director of Fairmont Equities. This is a weekly video where I take your requests and I analyse the share price chart for you and I show you how I do it. So if you have a request, make sure you send it through. For this week, I'm going to look at Challenger, Beach Energy, Evolution Mining, Nuon, and Zennith. Again, if you have a request, send it through. And any advice during this video is general only. So starting off with Challenger, it's obviously had a challenging year, bit of a sell-off earlier in the year before bouncing back, and now it's just been sliding again. So what we've seen this week is a breach of this previous low, which appeared to be good support there, just under $11. But it has been a negative week for the market. So what we need to see is a quick recovery in the Challenger share price. Hopefully under this line, we see some buying come in and lift it up. Otherwise, it starts to look a little bit concerning. So if we do get a quick rally, I think the next level of resistance will come in near $12. Beach Energy. So I'll just move to a daily chart. So there's a negative and a positive on this chart. The negative is this sort of reversal here known as an evening star formation. So we've had a nice rally up, a day of indecision, and then the shares fell, retested it, fell again. On the positive is that we saw good buying at this level. So at the previous low, a lot of good buying came in for Beach. So now it's trading between sort of this level of support and this obvious resistance level here. So at the moment it's a bit neutral. It might consolidate here, but we really do need to see a break of $2 to be fairly positive. Otherwise, if it starts to deteriorate under this level, then that would be viewed as a negative. Evolution. So looking at the weekly chart, it looks like we've seen the completion of the 5-wave decline. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Actually, I'll go to a daily chart just so we could see it a bit clearer. So 1, 2, third wave, usually the strongest and the longest. 4, 5. Nice reversal here on the daily chart. So the opposite of what we saw with Beach. So this is a morning star. In other words, it's appearing at the bottom of a downtrend as opposed to the reversal at the top. So shares fell down, indecisive day here, and they've gapped up. So they're looking pretty strong here. The other thing I've noticed is if we measure this rally from the low in about November 2016, you'll notice that it's retraced half of this rally. So that 50% retracement level is usually a level of support. The shares are now bouncing. I think they'll head higher. Whether they go to a new high fairly soon or not remains to be seen, but I think what we'll see is a bit of a move back up to sort of this trading range here. So towards that sort of 320 region, it might sort of retrace about half of this fall. Nuon, NUH, looks interesting here. Obviously it's had this is a daily chart. Last several days have been pretty positive. But if we look at the weekly chart, we could see, looks as though a 3-wave decline is over and the shares are bouncing. But what I've noticed is what it's done with this previous peak. So on a closing basis, on a weekly chart, we can see that the shares came back to sit on top of that peak and now they're rallying. So potentially we've got the beginning of a 5th wave. So we've got wave 1, 2, 3 is the strongest, very long 4th wave, and now it's rallying. So if this is the beginning of a 5th wave, that implies that the stock is going to head to a new high. So looking quite interesting here. If you're a little bit more conservative, you'd wait for this sort of downtrend line to break, but for the moment, I think it's looking pretty good. Zennith Energy. So this is a daily chart. Just not looking too crash hot at the moment. Obviously, it's dominated by this big sell-off, and I'm looking at the volume here. So, yeah, big volume on the way down. It's obviously struggling. We're almost going to get a buy signal on the MACD, so we could see the sell signal here. It's potentially crossing over to give us a buy signal, but you know, that could just be a very short-term bounce. It's hard to know if there will be much more in it. And looking at a weekly chart, there's nothing here that's telling me to be positive on the stock, unfortunately. So we just need to see a little bit more price action to be positive. All right, well, that's it for this week. If you have a request, send it through. If you haven't signed up to our newsletter, what are you waiting for? And we'll be back next week.